Call the April 2nd, 2026 Utility Advisory Commission to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We do have a quorum available tonight. We have 3 commissioners here. And we now will move on to public comments. Members of the public are welcome to make comments about utility matters or items on the agenda that are not part of a public hearing. Seeing as there's no one present, we will move on to the consent agenda. All matters listed within the consent agenda have been distributed to each member for study. These items are considered to be routine and will be enacted upon by one motion with no separate discussion. If separate discussion is desired on an item, that item may be removed from the consent agenda and placed on the regular agenda. Are there any items any members of the commission would like removed from the consent agenda?
No.
Seeing none, can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
All motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion made by Commissioner Paul, seconded by Commissioner Edwards. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll move on to the agenda, to old business. Sorry. Seeing as there is no old business on the agenda, we'll move on to new business. Item number 1 under new business, consider a recommendation to the City Council to negotiate an additional 7 megawatts of capacity and energy from GRDA.
Good evening. I kind of loaded you up this meeting, but try to get some things cleaned up. This additional 7 megawatts that we are asking for to negotiate with Grand River Dam Authority is to replace 5 megawatts that we're going to lose in April of 2026 to the way our contract's set up right now. We've done some background research. I've included in your packet a pretty in-depth report on why we want to head down this path. But bottom line, it's going to secure us a little bit better financially and in capacity. We're going to be able to not go to the market as much to buy power. And the best way I can phrase it to look at is, do we want to be on a fixed rate mortgage or do we want to be on a variable rate mortgage? If we continue with just the 4 megawatts of capacity from the Grand River Dam Authority, that puts us more in a variable rate mortgage, or if we go to the 7 megawatts of firm capacity for the community, that puts us on more on a fixed rate mortgage. And we're not going to the market as much to buy power that we need to serve the customers. With that, I'll leave it if any of you have some questions.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
It says additional 7 megawatts, so or is it 7 megawatts total?
It'll be 7 megawatts plus the 4 that we're already
Okay.
receiving. So
Thank you.
It brings it up to what, 11?
actually it'll be 11.5.
Yeah.
And like you said, it would be a fixed rate for how many years?
It'll be, that's what we need to negotiate with Grand River Dam Authority right now, but I anticipate that'll probably be a 30-year term contract. Yep.
I mean, trust me, I've seen what variable rate mortgages is, and they're not fun.
Well, that's kind of our risk when we go to the market to buy power. We just don't know what that cost is going to be.
Are there any more questions, discussion?
I would motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion made by Commissioner Paul, seconded by Commissioner Augustine, to approve a recommendation to authorize the Utilities Director to enter into a formal negotiations with the Grand River Dam Authority and KMEA to secure an additional 7 megawatts of firm capacity and energy. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The second business item is consider a recommendation to the City Council to award Unit 1 Major Inspection and Upgrade Service Contract to Allied Power Group.
As you folks probably remember back, it's probably been about a year ago, you guys entered into a contract with APG to do the rebuild, overhaul of unit number 2 of the gas turbines. This is a continuation of that. This is unit number 2. We want to basically do the same upgrades that we did to unit 2 to unit number 1. Probably the only difference between the two contracts or the two proposals at the time is, I think back when you did this the first time, you had 2 bidders. We only got 1 bidder to respond to our proposal, and we did change the proposal a little bit to try to include more of the work that's actually going to be done, so that when we're coming to you, we think we got a little bit harder firm price and we won't have to come back with any change orders or any additional funding. So we think we got this nailed down pretty tight. This is recommended in the long-term master plan of the electrical system to upgrade this unit to increase our capacity of the generation system.
Are there any questions?
It's been a while. How does the pricing on this upgrade compare to the one for Unit 2?
It's higher, and I should have brought that number. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head the difference, but we are, probably 10% higher. And then also this cost, we're trying to include everything. And the last time we did this, we had a fixed cost, and then we had to come back with some change orders. So there was some additional cost that wasn't upfront. We're just trying to throw this all together as one big price and hopefully not have to come back with any change orders.
Are there any other questions or discussion?
So you said that we only had 1 person respond to the RFP?
Correct. We only had 1 contractor respond.
And so is the same contractor that did the upgrade on the other unit?
Yep. It is just,
Any thoughts as to why we only had 1 this time?
I would speculate, and that's all I'm doing is speculating, that
Sure.
since they've been here once, they've done it once, the other contractors probably felt that weren't going to be able to compete, if that's a fair statement.
Fair enough. All right.
Any other questions?
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second?
I can second it.
Motion made by Commissioner Augustine, seconded by Commissioner Edwards, to authorize the city administrator to approve a contract with APG in the amount of $5,672,395 for the unit number 1 major inspection and upgrade. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll move on to item number 3. Consider a recommendation to the City Council to authorize the city administrator to approve the acquisition of 6 Evergy electric accounts and the associated service territory realignment for the 167th Street project, and authorize staff to proceed with the customer notification and transition plan.
We've got 5 customers. One customer has 2 meters, so that's where the 6 accounts come from. But that we discovered during the 167th Street design rebuild that are not City of Gardner energy customers. They are still Evergy energy customers. And the power lines have to be relocated in that area. And we feel that this is the time to kind of clean up the mess to some extent. The customer should be on Evergy's, or should be on the City of Gardner's power lines and need to be transferred to the City of Gardner to service them right. They are within the city limits. They technically are customers, and we need to have them transferred.
Is this the construction that's going on like 167th and North White, or is this the stuff over by the houses over by Century Park?
This is along 167th Street between Moonlight Road and Gardner Road.
Okay, so this is the new
Widening of that street.
It's the widening of the street.
Yeah,
It's 5 specific customers, is that correct?
Yes.
So it's,
Yeah, if you look on the back of your,
Yeah, because there's a church right there.
yep. And one of them is the church.
Oh, the church is not on Gardner Electric.
Right.
Correct.
I think there's 2 churches.
Because then you
right?
got Sunflower School right there, and then some like I don't know what it they sell, like there's a truck thing or whatever. I see what's highlighted and stuff. But yeah, there's all sorts of duplexes being put in right behind the church.
Yeah, that's all basically the City of Gardner service area, and we've got,
Yeah, I live around that area, so I see all the construction.
What will be the downtime for these customers?
right?
very, very minimal. We'll have our stuff in place, and we're probably talking 30-minute,
Oh,
40-minute outage at the very most.
so you use, excuse me guys, so you use the existing lines there?
No, we'll rebuild our structures to get in to serve these customers, and then we'll theoretically, it'll be almost like a hot swap, though. We'll disconnect from E-Energy and we'll hook up to Gardner Electric.
What are the advantages to these customers?
They get to be on Gardner Energy service.
They should be. I mean,
And
they should be. They're definitely within Gardner City.
It makes it-
I'm surprised they're not.
Well, it's something that's fell through the cracks. It happens. It is what it is. With the construction work going on Gardner Road, E-Energy or Evergy has to move their power line, and they will make their transition a little bit better because they're going to have to, some of these customers, they're going to have to cross over our lines now because they're going to be built behind us. So the transition to get to the customers is going to be more difficult for them. It'll be easier for us to serve those customers. It makes their line a lot cleaner going down 167th Street because they're not going to have any taps, serving those customers. And it's just, those customers now are on our water service, they're on our wastewater service, so it's going to clean things up for them. They'll be able to write one check and pay their bills.
And you said the downtime will only be about 30 minutes to
Yeah,
them?
it's going to be very minimal.
How about the cost of the energy?
We're going to have, because of the way this has been formatted, we're going to have to pay I keep saying E-Energy, it's Evergy. We're going to have to pay them compensation for those customers. And then we're going to incur some capital costs, building our line back in to serve those customers.
No, I mean the cost to the customers.
No cost to the customers.
I mean, will it be an increase or a decrease to their?
In their electric rates,
Mhm.
I would say their electric rates would probably be actually a little cheaper.
But technically, in a way, since they're in inside city limits, I mean, we can't do anything about that. They should be on our.
Right, I understand that, but.
I think,
I know you're proposing for them to come in here and, to tell us how they feel about it. And I'm just wondering what kind of information or discussion they might want to have.
nope, and that's a good point. We're gonna try to get them a letter out to try to explain the situation. After we get approval to move forward, get a letter out to them, explain the situation, give them an opportunity to come in here and get their concerns addressed. This is not something that's gonna happen overnight. It's gonna be a process to go through, and give them the opportunity to make sure they fully understand why we're doing this and really what the recourse is.
Question, does, and it could be not fall under utilities, but roads and stuff, is that fall under utilities?
No.
No?
Can we go back to the map? So we said 4 customers, 5 customers,
5 customers.
5 customers.
but one of them has 2 meters,
Yeah, 2 meters.
Yes,
right? And so they are the ones specifically outlined in this map, right?
correct.
Okay. So I assume, whether or not you know, right? Like, Evergy probably fed lines to all of this before this was annexed into the city years ago, and before they started building out all this stuff, the University Drive and whatnot. So, are we feeding the University Drive, White Drive, all this new subdivision?
Yes,
We feed that now. Okay.
Yeah, the church and the Gerald Strickler Trust and stuff, that's been there for a long time. That I know.
Yeah. I know those things. They're you can tell they're older facilities when you drive by them and whatnot. Where do Evergy's lines?
currently right now, Evergy's line's on the north side of 167th Street.
Do they come? So it's on
It runs east and west.
north and that east and west, but then how does east and west get its power? Is it coming from
So,
center or?
Yeah, so it's like, is
Every-
164th Street and Blair Court, and are they getting through Evergy or through us?
I gotta figure out where you're at here, Blair
So
Court.
just north of where it says Sprint,
That's all from what I understand, that's all our service area.
and that's where you like north of 165th. It's like all 167th. It's all Evergy. It's like, well, no, it's like, because it's like
That all is city of Gardner.
okay. So how about just out of curiosity, the golf course, which is
That I believe is Evergy's.
the golf course. Okay, so the golf course, Evergy, the neighborhood around Gardner Lake.
Is Evergy. I could be wrong. You gotta bear with me. I ain't
No,
learned it.
I
I ain't
know,
learned
and
it all
that's
yet.
That's where like he's saying, trying to figure out where.
But pretty much everybody along this 167th Street is a City of Gardner customer. These 5 accounts are islands. They are Evergy customers. And that's what we're proposing, is to clean that up and make that all City of Gardner customers.
Is Evergy on board with this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
They gave you the projected amounts that you need
Yeah.
to pay them, right?
Oh, okay.
Correct.
Yeah, that's the part I don't like.
Well,
I mean, like we're talking about $45,000 for 6 accounts. The residential customers are probably $150 a month. I don't know how much the church uses. I anticipate their usage is higher than that, but
I would think it would be lower.
church, bigger building, more lights, staff.
They're
all those kind
not
of things.
necessarily 24/7 working there. I mean, maybe
All right.
4 or 5 days a week.
I don't know.
Yep.
Either way, like it's not not gonna be anything crazy, right? They're not $10,000 a month.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, how long are we gonna, I mean, I understand what you're saying. I also, I'm just
Yeah.
looking at the numbers of,
This-
we're at,
This is not a financial,
and it's not a big amount. It just,
well, it is. It's a significant amount. And,
How many years have they been under that?
probably since the properties were built.
yeah.
So it's
Like,
been quite a
because that
while.
would have
Yeah.
been there before all of this was developed, and that's why Evergy had
But
them. And
The mistake we made, and hindsight's always 20/20, is after the city annexed those properties, we should have pursued service petition rights to serve those areas and clean it up. We failed to do that, so now we're paying the consequences.
Yeah, you had to do it within 180 days and it
That's
wasn't
correct.
done. Right.
if we would have done it within the 180 days, what would have happened?
We wouldn't have to pay Evergy.
We wouldn't have to pay Evergy for lost revenue.
Yes.
And so did Evergy determine, because I mean, I guess total revenue to Evergy is 18. Depreciated cost of facilities, is that us removing their line?
That's them removing their lines.
That's them removing the line, and then estimated facility removal costs. So help me out between lines 2 and 3. What's the difference?
Well, lines 2 is the depreciation cost of the facilities to be removed. So that is the life cost left of the facilities that are there.
Oh, okay.
And the 20,000 is the cost to remove those facilities.
Okay, got it. Yeah. So.
Any other questions or discussion?
I mean, I guess the question is, we're gonna send these people a letter. I mean, there's 6 of them or 5. We could, send a person to their house if we had to. And do they have an option?
Technically, no.
Okay.
But we're gonna try to send them a letter. We're gonna try to do a visit with them. We're gonna try to do some footwork. We're not gonna just walk up and say
Strong
you're.
arm
Right, well,
Walk
because-
up, swap the meter and turn our back. We're gonna try to get them educated and
When
have them understand this.
right? Because I know when you go to annex land, right, people can say yes and people can say no. And if they say no, aside from like an eminent domain thing, you cannot force them to. I don't want to agree to pay $45,000 and then all of a sudden we have one person that says, nope, no thanks, and so we paid some money, but we haven't taken care of the whole thing.
This is a safety issue too, if you look at it that way. The fire department comes, who do they call and they're inside the city of Gardner, who do they call if they got an electrical problem at the house, get the electricity shut off? I mean, if it's inside the city of Gardner, it should be city of Gardner electrical staff that shows up if the fire department needs help. If it's Evergy, we don't know whether they need to call Evergy or do they call the city of Gardner. So,
Yeah.
Well, the information in the packet indicated that they will have to do this. Is that correct?
that is correct. They really don't have a choice, but we want to try to be conscious of their concerns and address their concerns and make this
Absolutely.
transition as,
painless as possible.
yes.
And, it says that we should consider the legal standing. Have we brought legal up to speed on it, or like it says here?
Yeah.
We did? Okay.
I mean, I think it's something like 9 years, if I'm doing quick good math, before we break even on 45 grand. Assuming today's energy costs, right? Things go up in the future, maybe if they.
I'm actually just surprised that these 6 buildings, with the way the city's expanded, that it slipped through the cracks and that they're not.
That's,
I'm actually surprised on that one.
fair enough. I don't know. Did I have any more questions?
I don't have any questions. I mean, yeah, it needs to happen. I mean, everyone else is on Gardner Electric, and these people are well within the boundaries of Gardner. It's not like they're on the fringe anymore. They used to be, but not anymore.
Yeah.
Need to be brought in.
I just like to be fiscally conservative, and the fact that we're spending $45,000 and it takes that long to recoup it, right? Equipment is one thing, you need it to operate, right? 6 meters is, I don't know.
Is there any way to negotiate this compensation with Evergy?
Most likely not. We could try, but they're pretty stringent on their numbers, and it's just standard business practice. You know, you ask them for what the cost is, and that's pretty much the card you're dealt.
Right. I as a capitalist, right? You have a product, and you know, hey, if you do not want to pay my prices, that's fine. You know, you can shop elsewhere, and that's what they're doing, right? Like, this is an asset; they're selling it. You know, do we see the value, not intrinsically with the numbers, but from a safety and cleaning up the loose ends and bringing those people that are within our you know, city limits into our grid. I get it. Okay. So, all right. I'm sorry. I've rambled enough.
Well, I have one question. How did this come out? I mean,
That
did
is a
somebody
good question.
notice or something? I mean,
When during the process of looking at the road rebuild for 167th Street, Evergy has a power line that needs to be relocated. And then we started looking at, well, what are they gonna have to do to relocate that line? And then these customers kind of, during that process, have popped up, and we're standing there thinking, well, they need to be Gardner customers, one, and number two, even with Evergy relocating this line, it will be a little cleaner for Evergy if they are Gardner customers, because of where Evergy's got to relocate their line to. So that's what
okay, I was just
spilled the
wondering how
beans,
they-
I guess.
Are we widening 167th?
Yes.
Oh, God. That's what I was gonna
I don't know
say.
anything more about it than that, so.
It's like that road needs to be widened from it needs to be widened from Moonlight all the way down to past Century Park. It's getting way too busy for just a 2-line like that.
So basically, Evergy was going to have to move their lines anyway, right?
Yes,
To-
as
for
part of the
this project.
167th Street widening, they're gonna have to relocate their lines.
Okay, so Gardner's coming in, we're widening the street, you have to move your lines. Would that fee to move lines, would that be on Gardner then at that time anyway, since we were initiating that project? Okay, so that cost is gonna be there no matter what. It makes it sit easier.
It makes
Um,
everything now.
It lessens it, right? Because that cost is gonna be there no matter what.
Some of that cost would be there because Evergy will have to rebuild facilities to these customers to serve them after they relocate their line. And then this way, it's putting this on City
Well,
of
that
Gardner.
makes me feel a lot better. Okay.
City of
About
Gardner,
it
but it's
totally.
not an apple to apple.
Yeah. So,
No, that makes more sense. It's like we're widening, that's why I was asking about the roads, because that road needs to be widened. We're widening it, which explains why everything we found out is on 167. Is there anything anywhere else in the city that's
Not
fallen through the
that,
cracks?
not that I'm aware of right now, but I think that's something we're gonna put on our list to try to look at, maybe just run through
Around-
and do an inventory and see where everything's at.
You know, like around Gardner Lake, stuff like
Yeah.
that, or 151st, or is it 151st that goes around Gardner Lake, and there's some,
yeah.
because that's we're approaching north, so that's where it's like where, I'm not sure where that, some areas are Gardner, some areas aren't.
Are there any other questions, comments?
I'll motion to approve this.
I'll second.
Motion made by Commissioner Paul, seconded by Commissioner Augustine, to recommend to the City Council to authorize the city administrator to approve the acquisition of 6 Evergy electric accounts. Excuse me, is it 6 or 5?
It's 5, it's actually 5,
Yeah, that's what I
5
thought.
properties.
5 private properties, 6 electric meters.
Okay, let me start again. Recommend the City Council to authorize the city administrator to approve the acquisition of 6 Evergy electric accounts and the associated service territory realignment for the 167th Street project, including the compensation payment to Evergy in the amount of $44,506.44, and authorize staff to proceed with the customer notification and transition plan. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. We'll move on to new business item number 4. Consider a recommendation to the City Council for the purchase of an in-house large format mount multifunction plotter scanner.
This is a large printer to print drawings with and a scanner. We have a lot of interns that come in during the summertime, and we have a lot of drawings that are 36 inches wide, 3 foot long. We need to get those digitized and get them in digital format so we can store them, access them, look at them.
So like drafting prints.
It's drafting prints, exactly, is what it is. Currently, right now, our process to do that is we have to load up those drafting prints, bring them up to City Hall, use the scanner over here at the Public Works side, scan those, take our drawings back down to the shop, grab a few more, back and forth. Plus, if staff needs a copy, or if staff has something they'd like to scan to get digitized, we gotta come up here to do it. I just think with our new office building and the process, it's not an efficient way to be doing business. These scanners are expensive, but they're not real expensive. I think we can justify one very easily at our new facility and make things a little more efficient operation that we have. We did go out and got 3 quotes. As you can see, the lowest quote is a $7,000 unit. It's a HP Design Jet, which is very good scanner, high end. I just would recommend that we would proceed with that.
Has there been a problem in the commute, or this is just to eliminate the commute?
This is just eliminate the commute. I mean, you guys well know that depending on how you leave our office, and if you turn the right way, you might get hung up for 15 minutes. So it's just not an efficient way to do
Does
business.
wastewater and water have to commute also?
We don't have this printer at any of those facilities, but this would allow them to come in, or they would allow them to email to us, and we could get it printed out for them. And there's generally somebody from one of those departments swinging in our office probably more regular than they do here. So if we had to print something, we would have to print it, have it here, and then they would have to make a trip here to come pick it up. With that aspect, we don't know what the quality of print is. We don't know what was actually printed because we're not seeing it. So we wouldn't know whether we did what they wanted until they actually got here, and then they would say, oh, you didn't give me the right drawing. You need to print this one. So we're back to the process.
Sorry.
So, and you would be able to,
But we have this kind of printer here at City Hall.
Correct.
but you would be able to watch over the people who are doing this at your facility? Is that
Correct. Especially with the interns, when we bring the interns in, somebody probably is gonna have to supervise them to get them started, get this stuff started. So then we're bringing two people up here, we're tying up City Hall's printer, where if we had this at our office, we can get the intern, get them started to work. If they have a question or a problem, there's somebody there to answer that question. Where if they're up here by themselves, there's nobody to give them any direction.
Are there other questions?
Did we, when we went out to bid, or whatever we want to call it, sorry, brain's not working fully, did we specify what we wanted, or we just said, you know, what do they recommend? I just, since two of them came back the exact same, but then a Canon, I didn't know, you know.
Or did we look into used? Getting one of
We
these?
didn't look at any used, we just put out a kind of a generic bid format. We didn't really
Yeah.
get formal quotes or formal bids because the price is, you know, less than $10,000, but we did contact, you know,
Okay.
several suppliers. And it happens to be, we got two different suppliers that sell the same machine, which really I was pleased with because we got two apple-to-apple quotes.
Yeah,
I just wonder, it's like, since we already have one here, I totally get getting a second one there, but spending the money on a brand new one, maybe we can get it for half the price for a used one, for a secondary one. That's just what my thought goes to there.
well, and see, my thought was, like, are we getting the features and, you know, functionality that we need out of these models? Like, I don't know how many different models they make. I know when 2020, when I started working from home during the thing, you know, I investigated a number of different laser printers because I didn't want to deal with ink. And, you know, there's thousands of models, right? I don't know how many large format printers there are like this, but I just want to make sure that, you know, if we're getting one, whether that's new or used, that it's getting what we, you know, need or think we might need. And so I didn't know if these companies, you know, if we specified, hey, this is what we want, and they, you know, or if they recommended it, I guess that's kind of where I'm going.
When you purchase this new, does it come with a maintenance contract?
No, we did not opt for the maintenance contract. We're just looking at straight printer.
So if you have problems, you have to call them in and pay,
We'll have to call them in. That is
and
correct.
pay for the services?
Yeah. I don't envision we have very many problems. My experience with these, you know, the real thing that we're after is not so much the printer, is the scanner, is scanning those documents and getting them digitized.
And that's where it's like, I'm thinking, it's like, I'm sure we could probably find something for half the price it's used to be able to scan. If you're just looking for the scanning capability and not the printing, I'm sure there's gotta be something used that the city can find.
Generally, my experience with the used though is you're getting what you pay for.
Well, no, exactly. But this is it's not a like if it's like this is the only one the city had, I totally get it. This is a secondary unit.
And you don't have a maintenance contract with either one, used or new, right?
Right, well, yeah,
Can our IT department support it? I mean,
there's probably nothing, I mean, other than maybe if we had some communications problems or something like that with it, that would be about it.
On
But
the IT side, on those printers like that, I mean, our people would be able to troubleshoot the IP addressing and the networking, but if the printer itself goes down, no,
Okay.
they're probably not going to be able to do that. I've been in that industry,
okay, thank you.
and that's where it's like, I get what you're saying. You know, buying a brand new, it's like, but it's like if there's no protection plan with a brand new one, I would almost say, since this is like for scanning purposes mainly only and stuff, I would almost say, see if we can find one, what the price would be for a used one somewhere.
We can shop around if that's what the avenue you want us to take a look at. We can sure go back and,
I mean, I'm not saying we can't approve it, we wouldn't approve this, but it's like, I'm just curious on what the price would be for a used one,
We
for
can-
a secondary backup.
we can,
We can defer it and have him check,
Yeah.
research it.
that's fine. We can sure do that.
So I'm gonna go ahead and go with this. Is there a motion on this item? Seeing as that there's not a motion, we would refer it to you to see if we can get a used one.
I'm trying to remember my Robert's Rules of Order. Do we actually have to make a motion to table it? Like, is that, you know?
Says if the motion is to defer, make sure the direction to staff is known and what additional information is needed and which meeting the item will come back.
Can I look at it? Okay, yeah, so if the motion is to defer or table, which is the direction, staff.
So would you be able to come back next meeting
Oh,
with that
yeah.
information?
Nope, that's no problem.
Okay, so.
Okay,
I
we'll
guess-
move on to.
Proper,
Are you-
right? I don't know,
If
it's,
you wanna defer, I'll second, and
that way we can be official.
Okay, can I
Oh.
get a new motion?
I will make a motion to table item 4, new business item 4, until the May meeting.
May meeting.
May 2nd.
May 2nd? Okay, May
That's
2nd
fine.
meeting, if that is in fact the first Thursday.
No, I think it's the 5th.
5th.
Okay, sorry.
5th. The first, our only meeting in May. Sorry.
Nope, May 7th.
No, yeah, I think it's not.
No, it is May 7th. May
Yeah.
7th is our next meeting.
All right, official motion. I motion to table new business item number 4 until the May 7th meeting.
I'll second.
Which,
Motion made by Commissioner Augustine, seconded by Commissioner Paul, to refer the, where's your motion? To refer,
to table,
Defer.
to table.
table new business item number 4 until the May 7th meeting.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 5, new business item number 5, consider a recommendation to the city council to purchase a CCTV sanitary sewer mounted camera van.
This is the camera van or camera system that we use to inspect the sewer lines. The current unit we have is, we're reaching 10 years of life. We're having quite a bit of difficulty or problems with the camera on the unit. We've sent it in several times for repairs. This last time we sent it in, it's taken just roughly about a month to get it back from repairs. I mean, it's just basically end of life. That's where we're at with it. It's a very important piece of equipment. You know, sewer lines get blocked. That's what we use to determine what that blockage is after we get the sewer lines opened up. We run the camera down there to see what caused the blockage, what's going on in that sewer line. That's the only way we can inspect these sewer lines. It's going to be a big part of trying to help us determine our infiltration problems that we're going to try to start tackling. The guys, or the crews, the gals, everybody, staff, I guess is a better way to phrase that, have put it out for bids. We received 2 bids back. We are recommending the, make sure I get it right, the Red Equipment LLC, due to their location to us and their warranty work and the service that they provide. It's a little bit more money, but we think because of the service they provide, the warranty work, and working with us on backup equipment and stuff, we would recommend that that's the vendor that we go with to replace the existing unit we have. This funding is budgeted in the 2026 wastewater budget also.
So the camera that you're using now, it says inspections of approximately 13 miles of sanitary sewers are
Mhm.
inspected per year.
That is correct.
Can you tell me how this new piece of equipment will increase that?
Well, we'll have less breakdowns. I mean, we're theoretically, right now, we've been out a month that we haven't been able to inspect any sewer lines because our camera's been set in for repairs. As far as operational and the way the system runs, there's probably not gonna be a whole lot of difference there day to day. This system does have a newer piece of software. There's some, because it is pretty much all computer for the downloading of the videos, that sort of stuff, that's gonna be more user-friendly. So we'll increase a little bit of time there with our downloading of videos, reviewing videos, some of that stuff. But just basic day-to-day operation between the two systems are really not a lot of difference, other than we're just gonna have less repairs.
Well, I would think 13 miles is very low. Is that?
Not really, because we can't do it when the weather's bad. We can't do it when the sewer lines are running full. We have to be selective when we can go out there and do some of these sewer lines inspections. We're gonna try to increase that, though. We're gonna try to be a little bit more proactive, trying to get a handle on our infiltration system. But it takes time before we can camera a sewer line. It's gotta be jetted, it's gotta be cleaned. I mean, there's other steps in front of that. It's not like we can run out and camera a line. To do it right, we've gotta get it all cleaned up so we get a good picture. We can make sure our camera doesn't get stuck in there. Personally have had that experience where the camera gets stuck because something happened, and then we're out there tearing up a street trying to save our camera.
How soon can we get this in?
I think, and don't quote me, but I think the delivery was about 6 months.
6 months. I mean, Anthony Plumbing and stuff, they do the same thing, won't camera or anything until it's cleared, see if there's a break or what might have happened and stuff, so I've had experience with that, so.
Well, I think these inspections are just so important that we need to
Yeah.
have that done.
So what is the, it sounds like we're sending it in regularly for repairs. Is it the camera that is most susceptible? Like, that's what I would think, but I could be wrong.
No, you're right. The camera gets pretty abused. I mean, honestly, they're built good. Don't get me wrong, but we're shoving a camera 400, 500 foot down a sewer line that's full of water. I mean, there's just not a lot of equipment that's going to take that kind of abuse. I mean, and that's kind of where we're at with it. You know, what happens to the camera, generally what happens to it, or what's happening to our camera now, is they're pressure filled with gas to keep the water out. And if that pressure leaks, then it allows water to get into the camera. Usually you don't realize that's happened until you get halfway down the sewer line and your camera's gotten wet, and now you don't have anything. So then just pull it out, box it up, send it in.
Because, I mean, obviously, significant cost, $241,000 almost. I just was trying to determine, like, you know, is there and I don't remember, you know, how much of that is the camera and the software and the trailer? Like, is it possible, is it feasible to consider having a backup camera? You unhook the one and plug in the other? Or is that like most of the cost is the camera?
No, it's something we could look at down the road. That's another reason why we want to go with this Red equipment, because they do have a spare camera generally available. So if ours does go in for service, we can go borrow a camera.
Oh, that's nice.
From them, and
Yeah.
keep us going until ours gets back. Now, it's not a guarantee that they'll have one. you know, because somebody else could be using it, but basically they've got a spare on hand. Something comes up, we need it, we could go get it and borrow it.
Is there a different way to inspect these lines?
Not really.
No.
What's gonna happen to the old camera and van?
We'll clean it up and then we'll put it up for resale.
Purple Wave.
That would probably be a good avenue.
Someone purchases it.
I love Purple Wave, man. There's some good stuff on there. So I think it said we are actually purchasing a van. You can be driven around.
Correct.
Compared to currently, it's a trailer.
Correct.
Okay.
That would make it so much easier on
Yeah.
the
Um,
employees.
So obviously that cost includes the vehicle, the camera, all the nuts and bolts, everything we need, right? We're ready to go and we get it.
Complete turnkey.
Complete turn.
And we're sure the city's software can transfer?
That's part of the process with the selection, why we're recommending the Reed equipment. Their camera software, it's an upgrade software from what we have now. Technology has changed that a little bit, but this software will interface with our existing software. So all the videos we have now, we'll be able to transfer those over.
Oh, nice.
So then I was just curious about warranties.
You've caught me with unguarded, because I could not tell you off the top of my head exactly, but the warranties between the two entities are very comparable. And like I've said earlier, the recommendation for the red equipment is they're local. We've had very good service work with that company. Trying to find my documentation.
Official warranty section.
I was looking for that too.
Oops.
Did I do that?
You can blame me.
Is it
Fine.
this page?
Yeah, looks like it. Says mini van on there.
Is that just?
What page is it?
It's page 15 in the Ben Salmon or whatever.
It was 86 page document, so I'm supposed to put the whole thing, but it is online on the city website, and then I have pulled up now, I'm just gonna try to see.
Well, see, yeah, I was looking at that and I'm looking for something that says warranty under all the different stuff, and I'm not seeing any insurance, purpose, terms of agreement, compensation. There's nothing that officially talks about warranties.
Dave, I just pulled up the
Yeah, that's their,
That's the camera, right?
yeah, that's their plan. Well, we don't have,
No, I just was looking at these annual fees though.
Cash base.
I just didn't know what kind of, you know.
The-
You said the other one was bought 2015. 2017, which, like, I thought we had bought some sort of a camera, but maybe that was that long ago, or I'm thinking of something else. I don't really know.
2017 was before me.
I think I was here at that time.
I thought I started before you.
Oh, no.
Oh, he's,
What page, I'm sorry, what page did you say that was on?
Oh, 15, she's got it on the screen.
Let's
Oh,
see.
here it is.
So it sounds like just typical, you know,
It's basically just sets,
Or-
both of them will say manufacturers will require to provide warranty durations for the televised sewer inspection camera equipment and the other components installed matching the industry standards at a minimum. And I cannot tell you what those industry standards are,
okay.
but they both have to meet those minimum industry standards. Both bids meet that requirement.
Okay. And then, so this company sets it up, everything's in the van, all the monitors, all the cables and the reels. I think I saw 1,100 feet of cabling to run the camera, and I assume that's enough.
Yeah, that's more than enough. I mean,
Okay.
generally 400, 500 foot's a block, so,
Yeah.
you know, it's a block, more than a block at a time.
Okay. The vehicle itself, I assume, would be brand new and have some sort of warranty in terms of.
Yeah, the vehicle, if I remember right, is a Ford van.
Okay. And we've done business with this company before?
Yeah, we've had very good experience with their work, their workmanship, and just day-to-day. When we needed something, they've been very helpful.
And they're out of Independence. Oh yeah, 2026 Ford Transit, there we go. At the front, logic. Okay.
So on the agreement for purchase of goods, it says the term of the agreement shall be from March 17th, 2026 to March 17th, 2027. Does that mean this is the time frame you have to make the purchase?
Yeah, most of the vendors, when they submitted, they only give us a 30-day window for their pricing.
Okay,
But generally, a piece of equipment like this, we get outside that window, if we don't get outside it too far, they'll usually honor their price. But they do put a stipulation in there so we can't hold it up 60, 70 days and then pricing change and then try to hold them to their price.
last year you gave us this price.
Yeah.
Price went up this
Yeah.
year.
That's how it works, so. Okay, I think I'm good.
any other questions or discussion? I'll entertain a motion.
I'll motion to approve.
I can second.
Motion made by Commissioner Paul, seconded by Commissioner Edwards, to approve a recommendation to the City Council to award an agreement for purchase of goods, contract to Red Equipment LLC in the amount of $240,932.86 for a CCTV sanitary sewer mounted camera van. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll move on to new business item number 6. Consider a recommendation to the City Council for the award of a contract for the water line replacement Center Street to Elm Street Alley project, the CIP project WA 7007.
We've got a section of water line, basically, it's right over here behind the bank in the alley. We'd like to get replaced. I think the city staff's looked at this long before came on board. The lines had several breaks. The city's wanting to redo that alley, kind of enhance it a little bit. We've recommended to the city that we need to get the water line fixed before you enhance the alley, because if we have a major water break, we'll be in there tearing up what you've put down to try to make the alley look better. We put a set of specs together. We put this out for bid. We received 2 bids back. Grace Construction for $260,141, and Goris Enterprise for $297,740. Staff would recommend that the committee approve the grid construction for $260,141 to replace that water line.
Have we done business with Griggs before?
I believe you have. We're also trying to get this done before the World Cup event. I think they're anticipating some activities downtown, so we would like to get this water line repaired or replaced, get the alley fixed so that the downtown's in a nice condition for when the World Cup starts this summer.
Oh, they can get it done that quick?
We've got a stipulation with the contractor that as soon as we give him notice, he can get in and get out of there. So that's our goal.
And then so after this, is the city gonna do what they want with the alley?
That's my understanding.
Okay.
We've been having issues with that
Yeah.
area for flooding and breaks and stuff for a while. I remember there was a massive one over. So, I mean, if we get it fixed, if it gets taken care of, done, I don't see a problem.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, this is normal for us to have this kind of a project outsourced, right? We don't do those things in-house on this large of a scale.
Well, it's a couple things. I mean, we're busy. We got things going on with all the development, that kind of work, so do you want me to go out and do this, or do you want me to go out and do that?
We want you to do them both.
Yeah, that's.
Wasn't there something, Gonzo talking like 2 years ago, like a lot of like the downtown,
Downtown project?
well, a lot of this downtown stuff, he was wanting to replace a lot of the sewage pipes because they were really old from like back in the 20s and 30s and stuff from the stuff downtown. They were getting old. So to me, this would kind of be part of that. I mean, it's just a section, but I remember Gonzo talking
Was he
about.
talking about the I&I and those old lines that
Yeah.
we couldn't get it through? And so
Yeah.
with that new camera, we'll be able to do that.
We can figure out, it's like, because I remember a couple of years ago, he was talking about that a lot of the pipes and sewage pipes and stuff in downtown are pretty old, and he was wanting to camera scope and look
Mhm.
at,
Yep.
Yeah.
for replacement, because they're getting like 50+ years old and they're
Now
getting
that-
past their prime.
Now, this project here is a water line, so we won't be able to use a camera on it, but we do know what the condition of that water line is. We've had several breaks on that, and the line is actually made out of concrete. It's what they call a concrete water line, and they're not very stable. They've got some other issues with them. It needs to be theoretically replaced.
But he was talking about like water lines and sewage lines and stuff. We have a lot of pipes and stuff that are, they were cast iron way back when and stuff, and it's getting.
They're at their lifetime.
Yeah, they're at their lifetime, and he was wanting to, and I think we asked him back then, it's like, okay, give us a plan of what needs to be, what the plan was to get those replaced, because the last thing we want is a major breakage.
Yeah, you guys, I think you guys have experienced some breakage on the east end of this line where it's broke. It flooded, I think it flooded a business or brought some water in. That's what we're trying to prevent. And, you know, the city's project, of going in there, resurfacing that alley and dressing that up, it's kind of pointless for them to go in there and do what they want to do without us getting that water line replaced, because that's just another ticking time bomb. They go in there and spend the money, clean up the alley, resurface it, and then 2 weeks later, we have a water leak and we're in there with a jackhammer tearing up what they just done.
I agree 100%.
Yeah. So what, the section that we're replacing, what's on the other two ends? Is it more of the old stuff that we're gonna need to do? Or?
We've got this line now, from what I understand, runs underneath the awning of the bank. And then it runs across the street towards the funeral home. Our plan is to get the new line in place, get everybody transferred to it, excuse me, and then come back with staff and try to find the other end of that and cap it off and band it into place. And then that gets the water line out from underneath the awning of the bank, because if it does break underneath there, that's gonna be a nightmare to try to go in there and tear that up, because your working room's really tight.
Okay. All right.
Any other questions or discussion? Then I'll entertain a motion.
I motion.
I'll second.
Motion made by Edwards, seconded by Augustine. To approve a recommendation to the City Council to award a contract for the Water Line Replacement Center Street to Elm Street Alley Project, CIP Project Number WA7007, as received on March 24th, 2026, and authorize the City Administrator to execute a contract for the amount of $260,141 to Griggs Construction. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. We'll move on to discussion items. Number 1, electric outage report, first quarter 2026, and APPA data report.
We've included the outage report, and since you guys did not see the 2025, we also included that in this report along with the 2024. I think it gives you a very good comparison of where we were, where we are, and maybe where we're going. You can see that the outages for 2026 look like they're high, but I would probably say they're not. We've kind of changed our format. Every time a meter is pulled or a short outage, we are now recording those where we didn't in the past. So you're going to see more outages, but to be accurate, anytime a customer does not have power, even if it's for a brief second, we are going to record that as an outage.
And I think the other one, if it was under 30 seconds, it didn't
Yeah,
report it.
we're gonna report them all.
So notice you have the fire department on here with one occurrence.
Yeah, and I would bet that was a request by the fire department to pull a meter. And whether it was a fire or a suspected fire, that I cannot tell you. But we're gonna try to identify what's driving our outages. And of course, as you guys all know, the biggest problem, squirrels. That's the animal we fight the most.
So we had 3 occurrences with a squirrel that impacted 3,200 people.
Yep,
For 80 minutes.
that is
Dang
correct.
Squirrels, man. Tell you what.
And the city won't let us set up snare traps.
And then look at the second one, equipment replacement. We replaced equipment 5 different times for a total of 205 customers, but 43,000 minutes total.
Correct.
So I assume, like, if I'm thinking about this, right, if there's one equipment outage was 10 people for an hour, that's 600 minutes, right? Is how we're tracking that. So yeah, you have to divide that out. Okay. it seems big when you do the math. Not
Yeah, it
as
depends on
bad.
how you look at it. Like, oh, it's like, it was only an hour, but
But with
10
a lot of
people,
customers.
10 people
Right.
affected for an hour. Now we're talking
Okay.
600 minutes, you know.
What is utility human error? Is that like somebody runs into a line pole?
That's exactly what it is. That's where we made a mistake and caused an outage. Could be we pulled the wrong meter.
Gotcha.
Or breaker or something.
Yep. I mean,
Overhead.
You had 8 occurrences
I
for
would-
overhead, with almost 1,600 customers. Is there any chance any of those lines would go underground?
there's a possibility. I couldn't tell you from this which lines are there, but there's a possibility those lines might be in our long-range projection to convert to underground.
Well, that's good news.
Is the stuff going on across Moonlight and Main, is that due to electrical stuff, the shutdown there?
At the railroad?
Yeah. Is that
No.
a railroad issue or is that
That's a
electric?
railroad
It's a
issue.
railroad.
I
Oh, yeah.
wasn't sure if
They-
it was an electric
I
railroad
live
issue.
over there. They shut that thing down once every 6 months or something to repair
I
it.
wasn't sure if that was like.
It's a railroad issue.
They're like, we're gonna make it better, and then we drive over it, and I'm like, this feels the same.
Yeah, you don't go over that at past 5 miles an hour.
Yeah. So non-utility employee, that's probably like a pedestrian running into a power line or something.
That could have been a contractor. It could have,
Yeah, somebody that's not obviously city employee.
Right.
So I am intrigued here by fire department. 1 occurrence, 1 customer, 0 minutes, and also the same thing under unknown.
I think we're not seeing the minutes because I'm not carrying out the decimal place. The fire department may have accidentally pulled a meter or something like that. I don't know the exact situation, but I could find out for you if you're interested.
Okay. No, that's fine, I think. Interesting, you know.
Any other questions?
I'm good. Was there one with the? What's the second page of my thing here? No, with the circle graph.
That just breaks down the 3 years of all the different causes. It just stacks them up on a graph. It's called a donut graph. Each one of them is probably too small to really,
I need my
To
I need a
judge.
magnifying glass.
but you can see how
Yeah.
each one's affecting each other instead of looking at the numbers.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to really abolish those squirrels.
Hear that, Gardner? Take care of the squirrels.
You want to make a motion for that?
That'll have to come
Gardner
at
to
the
abolish
end.
all squirrels. I'm not going that far.
And I guess, and maybe it does not matter or whatnot, but like, over the years of my time on the board, we've changed how we report things and what we're reporting, and I understand that, that needs to happen, and, difference between you and Gon, so I'll ask the question and you can tell me that it doesn't matter. One of the things that we used to kind of talk about was, how our outage maybe compared to the average with the different,
The base.
the base and compared to other municipalities of, similar nature and whatnot. So I just, how are we doing compared to those people, or does that not?
Nope, we can get that number for you.
Didn't we win an award for reliability last year?
Yes, I think the APPA award we did, with one of them. One of the indexes, I think we did.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, we can get that for you. That's no problem.
Okay.
Any other questions? We'll move on to number 2. which was wastewater collection repairs report first quarter.
We've included in your packet our line maintenance report. Staff completed 9 sanitary sewer line repairs affecting 5 customers. 6 were due to residential issues, and 3 were due to other issues. The average workday response time was 26 minutes. The average workday repair was 1 hour and 24 minutes. The average after-hour response time was 21 minutes. Average after-hour repair time was 44 minutes. The overall average response time was 24 minutes, and the overall average repair time was 1 hour and 6 minutes. And also included in the deal is the sewer repair summary, which is all the work that the guys have done, sewer repairs, what they found, the response time. And then we've got a graph in there that shows the sewer repair reports, whether it was grease, roots, damaged by others. Looks like our biggest problem is grease and damage by other, which is not uncommon in the sewer world.
Annual PSA, ooh, wow, that was loud. Annual PSA, do not dump your grease down your drain.
Yeah.
Soak it up with paper towels and throw it away.
Any other discussion or questions? Then we'll move on to number 3, water repair report, first quarter 2026.
The line maintenance staff completed 10 water distribution service repairs affecting 7 customers. 2 were due to line failure, 2 were due to damage by others, 2 were due to residential issues, 4 were due to other issues. The average workday response time was 2 hours and 2 minutes. The average workday repair time was 14 hours and 21 minutes. The average after-hours response time was 14 minutes. The average after-hour repair time was 36 minutes. The overall average response time was 1 hour and 30 minutes, with an overall average repair time of 4 hours and 27 minutes. And we've also included this, basically kind of the same report for the water line repair in your packet, along with the water repair report graph, which shows line failure, damage by others, residential issues, and other for the damage report.
Any questions or discussions?
No.
Then I'll move on, then we should move on to number 4, project updates.
All the projects we've got going on, which is a lot. We've got several new developments that Bruce and his staff's working on, getting things laid out, plus the developments that are currently under construction. Lift station project is moving along on schedule, no issues. Sewer line projects along with that are moving along great, no issues. Hillsdale intake project, the engineering is still putting that together to go out for bids on the 60% design. We'll be bringing that to you when that's done.
Which one is that again?
Hillsdale intake. We're still working through design on the transmission line, water line, transmission line coming into town. And the wastewater treatment plant project is moving along on schedule and still anticipated to be done late this fall, October timeframe. And we're hoping.
Is that the one that you were gonna give us an estimated cost on? Is that the phase 2 wastewater treatment plant?
No, we're working on phase 1 right now.
Oh, you don't have a estimated cost for the phase two?
I don't think we do yet, but I can put it on my list for the next meeting and find out some more information for you.
What's being done up by, Celebration Park by the water tower there?
That would be the wastewater treatment plant.
That's, okay, that's what the, okay, because I can see crane and all sorts of
Yep.
construction going on up there. Okay, so that's the wastewater treatment plant you're talking about, okay.
No, we can get that for you.
And then,
But that has not, we haven't officially determined exactly all the process we're gonna need for phase two at the wastewater treatment plant. But I'm not saying there isn't some preliminary estimate out there that we can get to you.
Okay.
and then how's the power thing for, on Clare Road,
For the
electrical?
substation four.
Yeah, at Clare Road.
Transformer is expected to be here this summer. We've got the material ordered for the construction. And contractor is anticipated to be on site May 1st. And pretty much everything's going as good as we can say for right now.
How's our building coming along?
Our
Santa
building,
Fe?
we're hoping maybe to be in that here in maybe a couple weeks.
All right.
2-3 weeks, we should be in there. We've got a couple issues with some forgotten items that we need to include in the package. We're trying to get those things wrapped up and get that nailed down, but overall, it's coming along great. It's gonna be a huge asset once we get there and get moved in and settle in as a new family.
Get the city to do that ribbon cutting.
Yeah, we'll get moved in first and we'll see.
Last meeting you
excited
said
about
you
it.
anticipated to move in like the 1st of April. but-
Yeah, we've run into a couple snags with a couple of these issues we have with some stuff we need to tidy up. We didn't get our pricing back as quick as we anticipated. And just, it's always, you're always anxious to move in and you're hoping things go better than what they did. So that's my fault.
That would be fun to attend, like the ribbon cutting of that or whatever. That's all.
Yeah, we're-
If it comes out to it, let us know. That'd be neat too.
We'll leave that stuff up to Danica. That's her cup of tea. We'll see what she lines up.
How's the employment? You said last time you were,
We've,
had some spots that needed to be
We've
filled.
had some pretty good success. We've got some interns coming on board here, and I think in a couple weeks, we did hire a apprentice power plant tech. So some of the slots are starting to get filled, which is great. We've got a couple of them. We're gonna step back and kind of reevaluate, and maybe try to take a different angle with advertising, or maybe try to look at that job description a little bit in depth and see if we can tweak that a little bit, try to open that up a little bit. But it's gotten better. I think after the holidays, people are starting to look maybe.
How many, you know how many roles we're still trying to fill?
I couldn't tell you off that top of my head. I know we've got a SCADA tech for the generation side. We've got that position open. I think Bruce is completely filled on the line or the power line electric distribution side. I believe Teddy's got one opening. I think Scott's got an opening. I think Lisa's filled up. So we don't have a lot, but it's just trying to find somebody to fill those voids.
Yeah, I think you were saying last time it's like 10 to 15 openings, so it sounds like we got quite a bit filled up. So.
Yeah.
And don't forget, we all, I think, would still like a tour of the facilities.
Oh, yeah, that's
Not
definitely
till
on the,
summer.
I-
I can't do
actually,
it till
what I
after
would-
school's out.
I would,
A request was made to do it during the summer.
yeah, we gotta get that lined up here. The weather's starting to get nice now, so we can see how we can put that together.
Yeah, I just can't do it. Can't take while I'm teaching school. So
Understood. And I would like to also make a statement and commend Aaron for the project updates in the minutes. I really appreciate that, and I hope that continues. Any other discussion or questions?
I am hungry, so I'm gonna make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Motion made by Commissioner Augustine, seconded by Commissioner Paul to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you, folks.
Meeting adjourned.